And there we go, the finished chicken parm. Sort of a neat trick that I found out recently was welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, I'm Kathryn, the Aerogarden Homesteader, and today I am making some pretty easy chicken parmesan. So if you're looking to feed a crowd and you don't want to sit there and fry, shallow fry, and then bake your chicken parm, this is a lovely recipe. You just do it on a sheet pan in the oven, and all the steps are just, it's pretty quick because it's at a pretty high temperature. I really like this recipe, so I hope you give it a try. I am starting with a little bit of oil in my dish here. I'm starting with a little bit of oil in my dish, and I'm going to mix about a 1-to-1 of breadcrumbs to Parmesan cheese. The amounts, it kind of will depend on how much chicken you're doing at the time, but I'm doing about 4 small-ish chicken breasts, and I've got about 1/4 cup of each, the breadcrumbs and the cheese, and I don't know, 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil. I'm not sure it's 4 tablespoons, but add what you need. I know that's a little hard to tell right away, but you'll get a feel for it, and you can always add more. So I have my chicken here. I haven't done anything to the chicken except sort of cut off any of the little bits that were there to begin with, but you can flatten your chicken, you can fillet it, whatever gets the job done. You can also try to do a clean hand and a dirty hand. I find it almost never works, and I like to try to get into the little crevices there just to get it going. So I will dip it, and then I will make sure I get all the edges and stuff, and then I will put it on a cookie sheet so it can go in the oven. I like to put the non-pretty side up. So if you look at a chicken breast, you consider the top to be pretty and the bottom to be not so pretty, because I will be flipping these not quite halfway through, it's more than halfway through, but I will be flipping them, and the flatter side I kind of want up because that is where I will be putting the cheese and the sauce. So yeah, see, this is where your other hand just ends up getting dirty. And then optionally, after you have coated everything, you can spray it with a little bit of oil in a can, non-stick spray, and it will help with some of the crisping in the oven. It just kind of gives it a little bit more of that fried texture, if that's what you want. I haven't done that in a long time. I just don't care anymore. It honestly, it all tastes good. Doesn't matter if it's been sprayed or not. So that was just about right for my 4 and a bit chicken breasts. One of them kind of fell apart a little bit, so. I have some tomatoes in the freezer. I keep thinking I should pull those out and either make that roasted marinara. I keep hearing such good things about it, or I should just make some more roasted salsa just to get rid of it. So if you want to see something other than roasted salsa, I can do that. Just let me know below if there's something that will tickle your fancy. Don't know if it's worth doing this little piece, but I will just tuck it under, and away we go. So this will go in the oven at, if I get my temperatures wrong, I will write it down in a note, but just check the recipe as well. I will put it in the oven at 425 for 20 minutes, and then we will move on to the next step. Fresh from the oven and sizzling hot, so now I need to carefully flip them over. And I want to be careful when I do it because I don't want to get any of the crust stuck to the bottom. So sometimes the tongs will remove crust from the side. Don't know how to get around that. There. Okay, that's that. And now, okay, then we put our sauce on and our cheese, and it will get about 5 more minutes in the oven. So some of the thicker ones might need a little longer. I'll do a quick temperature check just to make sure. Generally, I have not had any problems with them not being cooked when I do it this way. Like not filleting them or butterflying them or anything like that. So your mileage may vary. Sometimes I do give it a little bit more at the front than at the end because I don't want the cheese to get too dark. And then I just put on some mozzarella. Obviously put on whatever kind of cheese suits your fancy. This is just the recipe I found called for mozzarella. This is just a recipe I found on the internet. I've made a few modifications to it, but not too many. And it has worked out really well for us. My cheese is frozen. Okay, be generous. Tastes better that way. Okay, I'm going to get this back in the oven. It'll be in for about 5 minutes or until the cheese gets browned, whichever comes first. But I want my chicken cooked, so the chicken gets cooked whether the cheese is done or not. We generally have fettuccine with marinara on it when we serve up the family, and you know, I know most people know how to cook pasta, but sort of a neat trick that I found out recently was on the knuckle. That's one person, that's two people, and that's 3 people. So I'm cooking for 1 adult, 2 kids right now, so I might actually have a little bit, so maybe it'll be like 1.5 adults and 2 kids. So I want to sort of have a decent amount that will cover that, and that is sort of the method I use. I don't know if you saw that. 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. And it's the amount, so this is enough for 2 people right there. And in it goes. I will probably put in just a tiny smidge bit more and call that good. And I just cook according to the package directions. And there we go, the finished chicken parm. This is really good. We used to make this all the time. We need to make it more often. It is so good. And it comes together so fast. As long as you've got relatively thawed chicken breasts, it cooks up really good. This was exactly cooked perfect in the oven at the 20 minutes plus 5 more minutes at 425. So I hope you give this recipe a try. It would be really easy to scale this up and feed a crowd. You don't have to worry about shallow pan frying or any of that stuff. So let me know if you give it a try. I hope you found this video useful. I will have the recipe linked below, and I will have some other videos up that you might enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.